Delivery drivers of Reddit. What is the weirdest thing you have experienced when delivering a package? I'll start. Me and a friend of mine were drivers at a pizza shop. My friend took a delivery to a house in a rough area, where he was confronted by 3 Aboriginal blokes. They tried to hassle the pizzas off him, but proceeded to push through them and went up to the house. The customer answered the door, and while he was buying the pizzas asked, "Are these people bothering you?" and proceeded to walk out to the group and punched one in the head, knocking him out cold, while the other 2 ran away. He then casually walked back, apologized and gave a decent tip. So what's your stories, Reddit? I delivered pizza for a few months when I was in college. It was a trashy little town about 15 minutes from my university. I got a delivery one day to this old house that had been turned into apartments. I go to knock on the door and it is covered in weird signs. Biohazard, no trespassing, caution, etc. The guy answers the door and he is about 50 years old, with long, messy, grey hair, wearing only a lab coat, and the only light on in the apartment is a strobe light. Guy, who are you? Me, I'm here to deliver your food. Guy, why should I believe that? Me, confused, I'm holding it right here. Guy, fine, take your money. You should get out of here though, this place will be crawling with feds any minute. I got the duck out of there. I work at Domino's and had a delivery to a house that was in one of the rich neighborhoods. I pull up to the house, drive down a long ass driveway, and when I finally get to the door, I see an envelope taped to it. There is nothing written on it except Domino's on one side, and leave on doorstep on the other. Inside is enough money to cover the pizza and a $10 tip. I look around kind of awkwardly, before setting the pizzas on the doormat, and putting the money in my pocket. While I'm walking back to my car, I turn back around to look at the house, and lo and behold, the pizzas are no longer on the doormat. I didn't hear a door, and it hadn't been but 4 or 5 seconds since I had turned around. I also noticed as I was getting back in my car, that there were cameras all around the perimeter of the house on the walls, painted the same color as the house to blend in. I drove away, and not a single duck was given. TLDR. I delivered to James Bond / the President / Witness Protection Service resident / aliens. I delivered pizzas in my hometown. I live in Westchester, New York, and there are some celebrity residents. Anyway, one day I delivered to a very nice house, but nothing that made me think twice. I rang the doorbell, and who opens the door but Kevin Spacey. He asks me how much, and I tell him $39.37. I will remember the price to this day. He then pulls out 2 $20 bills from his wallet, looks at them awkwardly, and yells back into the house, "Honey, do you have any singles?" A response from somewhere, "No." Kevin Spacey gave me a 63-cent tip. As a driver for Domino's years ago, a customer asked if I would throw this bag of fish guts in the dumpster on my way out. I looked at him like, seriously? And said, I'd do it for $3. He balked at my offer, and then I reminded him that I'm the pizza delivery guy, not the garbage man. He gave me the $3 and the bag. I disposed of the bag as requested, and was $3 closer to being super rich. When I was a young college student, I needed money all the time. I lived in a crappy apartment above a pizza shop. The owner asked if I'd like a second job, occasionally delivering pizza when they needed someone. Convenient, because I live upstairs. He said, "Do not ever open the box of pizza, do you understand?" Young and stupid me figured it was because the pizza would get cold. I'd get mad good tips. That's because a couple of years later the guy got busted, and it turned out I'd been delivering drugs via these pizzas. I was delivering sandwiches for Jimmy John's one night, and found the apartment. 2 very drunk, half-naked girls opened the door. They paid for the food, giggling the whole time, and asked if I wanted to come in. They were hanging all over me. One of them kissed me on the cheek. Pretty sure they wanted one of those porno-like delivery man scenes to go down. Had to turn them down, as I was, and still am, taken, and my girlfriend worked at the same store, and was there waiting for me. Sorry ladies, only so much of me to go around. Stud. You sir have the willpower of 1000 Jedi. I used to deliver Thai food for a while. On a rainy Friday night, I proceeded to make a delivery into a shitty apartment house. 3 floors and like 4 or 5 apartments. I heard loud music coming from the apartment I was supposed to deliver to. I knock. No answer. Wait. I knock harder. A really, really hot girl answers the door, wearing a bra and jeans. Oh hi, how would you like your tip? I just stand there dumbfounded. Before I have a chance to say anything, a huge black guy comes walking behind her and takes the food. He proceeds to say, "Know what, digger? I'm fitting for my chicken pad thai right about her." He hands me a stack of $1 bills and says, "There's a $4 tip in there. Don't do drugs." All the while the girl is standing there with a goofy smile on her face. He shuts the door and locks what sounded like 4 or 5 locks. I worked as a pizza man during my first few years of university, edit, around 2003. One delivery does stand out. So, I'm in the store taking pizzas out of the oven. We get a call for a $30 plus order, which is a decent size order as our large pizzas were only $5. I load up my car with their food and head over to the address. I'm driving up the street and I can see a bunch of cars parked on either side of the street. I see some Ford Rangers and Camaro, so I'm thinking that it's just some kids throwing a party. I head up to the door, knock, and I'm greeted by a 30-something female. Odd. Maybe the chaperone? Then another one comes along to help with the food. Then a third woman with something draped over her shoulder appears. It's a dong, double-headed, black, floppy. They invite me to step inside. It was winter in Michigan, so I oblige, and I'm greeted by about 15 women, all in their 30s or 40s, crammed in a living room. I took a picture with a couple of them for shits and giggles, then went on my way. So, it turns out that I went to Rex's toy version of a Tupperware party. I never worked as a delivery driver, but I was a shift manager at a sub shop that delivered until 3 AM in college. We used to get calls from the local strip clubs all the time to deliver food to the bouncers/strippers. We quickly figured out that the strippers would either not tip or poorly tip a male driver, but they would crazy tip a female driver. So, we made sure we sent our one female driver on those runs. She would always split the tip with the driver who had been on deck when the order came up. Often it was like $20, so they each got $10. A bunch of years ago, I was working at a custom wood window manufacturer. I was responsible for loading, delivering, clearing payment with the company, unloading the company standards, and truck maintenance. So, I get to this one house, and the first thing I notice is shit all in front of the front door. Random construction shit, all in a messy pile like it just got tossed out. Then I start seeing tools and things fly out of the door. I figure there's a contractor firing a worker on the job, but I didn't really give it any thought because I'm on the clock. As soon as I fill out the logbook and open the door, I realize what's happening. The woman who owns the house is absolutely flipping shit at the contractor. Instantly awkward. I won't go into details, but I heard the entire story before I got the first window to the door. I act as professional as I can, walk around the tools and right into the front door while knocking like a ducking boss. Instantly the woman acknowledges my presence by screaming, "Great, now the ducking windows are here." Ducking great. I'm going to give a slight forewarning. From here out, for me personally, the level of awkwardness rises exponentially every time I walk another window into the house. I kept to myself, but this bitch was on a rampage. About 45 minutes goes by, large house, and I'm moving the last window into the main room. Every window is protected from walls and other windows by cardboard packing corners. They are about 8 deep and they are placed immaculately, and I am proud. As I'm walking out the door to grab the credit machine, I hear stomping down the stairs. I look over and this chick is looking me dead in the eye and has a broom handle in her hands as she's coming down the flight. Instantly I feel threatened, and my mind goes through a pretty simple situation check, and I realize she can't seriously injure me. As she walks towards me her eyes shift to the windows, and she changes paths towards them. I move out of the path. She does a running javelin throw and Amazingly, the glass are all sealed units. Puts this broom handle through like 4 windows in a row. I'm already across the room in utter shock, witnessing one of the greatest flip outs of my entire life. She then grabs the broom handle and continues to duck up every window she can get to, which at the end of the flip out had a tally of 17 sealed units, with frame damage to about 1/4 of that. With those windows, that was about $6,000 to $8,000 damage, given that they were not painted and were high quality finished wood. I immediately left and called the company, who told me to call the police immediately and that the owner was on the way with a lawyer on the phone. I left after the owner/salesman showed up and continued on with my day, fully satisfied with a pretty epic story to tell. Cable guy here. Not really pizza or package delivery, but I still visit people's homes. 4 or 5 years back, I had a call to hook up internet for someone. It was a townhouse in an average part of town, so I didn't think much of it. Been in these places before, and they aren't all that bad. Anyways, I knocked on the guy's door, and when he opened it, the smell of cat litter hit me like a punch in the face. In a situation like this, you suck up your pride and grin, and bear it. Time is money, so you psych yourself up to just get it done and get the duck out. So, I walk into this guy's house, and in the front closet there's 2 huge Rubbermaid bins overflowing with cat shit and litter. It was all over the floor, and it crunched under my shoes when I walked. The smell was burning my eyes. We walked further into his home, and not only was there cat litter tracked all over the carpet, but there were piles of old laundry, fast food bags, and random garbage all over the place. Classy. To top it off, the guy lived alone with his mom, who was stuck in a wheelchair because she had no legs. How she was able to wheel herself around the house was a mystery to me. So, the guy decides he wants his internet hooked up beside his TV. He points to the corner of the room he wants it in, and proceeds to shove a pile of garbage off of his couch and onto the floor. "You can leave it here." I quickly threw a splitter on the cable line, and hooked up the modem with the line loosely running over mounds of garbage. Not enough signal, it wouldn't connect, and the TV was fuzzy. "Duck. I need to check your connections in the basement." It's kind of a mess down there." "What in the duck is that supposed to mean?" "Kind of a mess? What the duck do you call this shit upstairs?" So, we proceed to the stairs. The way down was a minefield of dirty laundry and garbage. You had to be careful where you stepped, or else you'd lose your footing and fall into the abyss. At the bottom of the stairs, there was a small landing and a door. The guy paused for a couple of seconds before he took a deep breath and opened it. What's that? Carpet seems kind of lumpy. Well, this isn't that. Oh my ducking god. It took a few seconds for my brain to register what I was looking at. You don't expect to run into something of this magnitude, so you can't really comprehend it at first sight. Basically, this guy had an unfinished basement, cement floors and walls, that was covered wall to wall, corner to corner with roughly 6 inches of cat shit. No litter, just shit. The only place you didn't see it was the path that was shuffled through it to get from the door to the washer and dryer. I don't think they've ever used before. I instantly turned around, ran out of his house, and proceeded to puke all over his lawn. He stood in the doorway watching me with a dumb look on his face and not saying anything. After I was done fertilizing his lawn, I shoved past him back into the house, didn't say a word, grabbed my tools and the modem as fast as possible, and got the duck out of there. I called the office and got them blacklisted, so nobody would have to deal with that ever again. I also called social services, so that his mom could get some much needed help, and be taken out of that shithole. TLDR, delivery job stops at the door. Try going into someone's house. I hate my life.